to another international teams challenge. This time, we have a team from China, taking on a team from the innovative play platform IntoBridge.com. The Chinese team are non-English speaking, so their comments are being read by a stand-in rather than spoken by them. In addition to the players' individual commentary, we also have an expert overview throughout, provided by Nick Sandquist. Let's get straight into the action.
So this looks fairly normal. It's gone pass from north, par from east, and a spade from Desi third in hand. I don't think West has got any reason to get into the bidding at this point. His club suit is poor and he's got a lot of defense against a spade contract. Stefan bids a no trump, of course. Desi will show her hearts, and with a Stefan bid 3 or 4 hearts, they will climb to 4 hearts, which looks to be on with spades 3-3 and the ace on side, and trumps 3-2.
Apart from the obvious 5 spades 4 hearts, I know that partner has up to 15 points because we play precision club. I really like my hand. King double turn in partner's main suit is great. Fit in hearts with Jack 9, that should help as well. The Ace of Diamonds works 99% of the time. The Jack of Diamonds depends if partner has something in diamonds. I think my hand is great. I'm tempted to bid 4 hearts, but we sometimes open with 10 points. Furthermore, now my partner is in 3rd seat, so she can be even weaker. That's why I'll just bid 3 hearts and let her raise or pass depending on her strength.
My spades are really bad, but the hand is good overall. Partner should have no more than 2 spades, so there won't be many losers there. I'm definitely bidding the game.
I'm hoping we can make 3 spade tricks here, so I'm going to lead a trump and hope to remove as many of Dummy's trumps as we can.
West understandably starts with a heart, but because spades are 3-3 and Dummy's going to come down with at least 4 hearts, it's slightly optimistic, and it could cost a trick to lead away from the 10. And like all the good declarers, Desi will not bother drawing trumps yet. She has to start establishing her side suit, so spade to the king at trick 2 is obvious. And still, of course, she wants to make sure her spade suit is running before she attempts to draw trumps. And there will be good news on this trick. Spade 3-3. So now her trumps and spades are good. She got the king of clubs and the ace of diamonds, and it would appear she might lose one more trick. But West is holding both the diamonds in the king queen of diamonds and the long clubs in jack to 4 left 3 the whole time. So he will be squeezed in the minors for the second over trick.
Desi is squeezing me. Well done, Ops.
A nice little squeeze and 12 tricks for Desi. Let's see if things go the same way at the other table.
And as we join the other table, the auction unsurprisingly starts the same way, with pass a spade, I should imagine, unless East for some reason thinks he's got a weak 2 in diamonds. I don't think he does, but what do I know? Yeah, East passes soberly and South gets to open a spade, same as the other table.
I'm thinking of doubling here. Not exactly the shape by the books, but I love my spades. I imagine a competitive auction where we push them to level 3 and we beat it.
Okay, West gets in with a takeout double here. I have to admit it wouldn't be my choice. It seems to me I just have a big defensive hand against the spade contract, and to invite partner to compete when I can only offer him 10 third, jack 5 and king queen doubleton seems a bit risky to me. but he may get away with it. Partner has a decent 6-card suit, and the opponents can actually make games, so it doesn't have to cost that much.
I have no fit with partner and no suit of my own to bid, so I'm going to look to penalise them here. I think I'm going to pass here and see if partner can double. If he can, I have 4 defensive tricks. And if he bids something else, it's likely he doesn't have wasted values in diamonds, so he might have game somewhere. Okay, here's my penalty double.
Yes, North will be happy to stamp on 2 diamonds, of course, and South, having only open third in hand, has got ace king. He's got lots of defense and no reason to pull that. So how's 2 diamonds double going to do? They're off ace king of hearts, ace king of clubs is 4, king of spades is 5, and 2 diamond tricks is 7. That's 300 already. If they can organize a spade ruff in the North hand, that would mean 500. As South, with partner likely to be short in spades, I would be keen to switch to spade quite early, but it's possible that North signaling is encouraging more hearts. Here comes a highish club, and the spade fish better come now or they might lose their market. And when North now returns his spade, it's obvious the spades for 5-2, and getting 500 should be a breeze.
So first blood to the Chinese team, but just a drop, as it were. They lead by 1 imp going into board 2.
And this is board 2, where East opens a club and South has a normal looking takeout double.
I could redouble here, but if we end up in a position where we don't want to double them, we'll need to know what suit we should play in. So I'm going to bid 1 heart.
I completely agree with that. The automatic redouble just because you have 10 points very often leads to trouble.
My options here are 1 no trump or 2 clubs. I prefer 2 clubs because of the concentration of honours in the suit and my lack of a spade stop.
Interestingly, in some styles it's perfectly okay to raise a heart to 2 hearts on free small, and in some cultures you have to have 4 hearts to raise in this situation. Many would choose a no trump, but 2 clubs on the nice suit is also okay.
Partner's 2 clubs usually shows a 6-card suit, so we use clubs as a landing place, and any bid below 3 clubs from me is invitational. 2 hearts and 3 clubs are only mild invitations, with other bids being stronger. I don't know if I should bid 2 spades looking for a diamond stopper or 2 diamonds looking for a 5-3 fit in hearts. Since partner didn't rebid 1 spade, 2 spades might seem semi-natural. But if partner is minimum with 3 hearts, he can't bid 3 hearts, as any bid above 3 clubs would force to game. So I'm going to bid an artificial 2 diamonds and see what happens.
Keeping the bidding low and allowing partners to show freak-out heart support seems very reasonable. Stefan can now come in with 2 spades, and because he didn't bid a spade on the first round, partner will know he hasn't got too much.
We don't have a specific agreement about what double would be here. I think it's takeout implying 3 hearts. Stefan's 2 spade bid is a bit of a surprise. It effectively prevents partner from bidding 2 hearts too. Well done, Stefan. I should probably have bid 2 spades, then maybe partner could have bid no trumps and we could have played in 3 no trumps. Partner's double here is penalty. Our agreement is that when we bid 2 suits and force to a specific level, for example 1 club, 1 spade, 2 hearts, we play penalty doubles below that level. But this is an unusual auction, and I'm not sure that our agreements will be clear. Also, Stefan has at least 5 spades and Desi has at least 3, so it looks more like a takeout double. If that's the case, passing could be a disaster. I'd better bid 3 clubs to be on the safe side and let partner play the hand from his side. If 3 clubs makes partner think we have a lot of club tricks and he bids, for example, 3 diamonds, I'll bid 3 no trumps and hope the queen of clubs will be a useful card.
It is indeed a very unusual situation with that double. I suppose there was some scope for a big misunderstanding, but West had too many spades. He realized it couldn't be a penalty double, and he pulls to a very playable contract. So if we look at the play in 3 clubs, we can see that declares off a spade and 2 diamonds and the ace of hearts, that's 4. He needs to bring in the club suit to have any chance, and you can bet that he wants to play the queen of clubs and the club to the 10. That's what he's thinking about right now. Will he do it? Interestingly, the 9 of clubs from south on this occasion would almost certainly mean that the player is going to play clubs from the top. It was one of Zia's tips in his book that you should play the 9 on all occasions except when you're forced to. Okay, up goes the king and down goes the contract. Barring a major accident by the defense, he should lose 5 tricks from here. There is some consolation in clubs being 4-2 and hearts being 4-1. You can't really make much of anything. 3 no trumps wouldn't make, and you certainly can't make game in hearts. So it doesn't seem like minus 50 would be the end of the world here.
Just the unapocalyptic minus 50 here. Over to table 2.
And we're getting onto board 2, where, if I'm not mistaken, Shivko has a weak no trump available.
If this was a strong no trump, I would pass. But they play weak no trump, so I'm going to double.
How much you need to double a weak no trump is up to partnership agreement, but the south hand is very nice, so if he upgrades it to a 15 count, I would agree with that.
Partner only promises a slightly stronger hand than East. I'd better run.
Yeah, so North has no interest in playing 1 no trump redouble. It looks like redouble here is just showing points, and being green against vulnerable opponents, that's obviously very tempting. On some occasions you may actually lose the hard suit, where possibly you could have game on. Now for many partnerships this would create a forcing situation, so that you can't sell out to 2 spades undoubled. You either have to double them or bid higher. But it's not necessarily right to play that way. West may feel that he's redouble emptied his hand, and all he wants to do is defend 2 spades undoubled. Having cashed a high club, Shivko is not sure whether he needs to play hard through the ace or attack trumps, with dummy being short in clubs. West decides to keep control of the hand and the spade suit by ducking the ace, very reasonable. And North decides to knock out the ace of diamonds. On the face of it, declare is only off 1 spade, 2 clubs and ace of diamonds, that's 4. But he's got a bit of a problem, both in the trump suit and in those clubs in his hand, which he has to either throw on the diamonds or try to ruff in dummy. The next club is won by West, and if he now gives up and plays an ace and another spade to take away the ruffs, the declarer will make 4 trump tricks, 3 diamonds, and the ace of hearts for 8. So he's doing well to stop now and try another defense. He doesn't like the idea of playing a high heart because it's starting to set up 10-9 in dummy. So here he comes up with an imaginative small heart. But the declarer's got a reasonable count on the east hand and he's spotted the heart pips. So when the small heart comes, he simply says thank you and throws a club loser away. The declarer ruffs a heart back to hand in order to try to ruff the jack of clubs in dummy. Now he can make the hand here if he ruffs the jack of clubs with the queen of spades. But he elects to ruff small, so West gets to over ruff with a 9 and can now simply promote partner's jack of spades with a high heart, but here he loses track and lays down the ace of spades, so the contract slips through. So the Chinese team will make 110 at this table, and there was only 50 at the other table, so they pick up 2 imps for their troubles.
Another different contract there, and that 2 imp gain means that the Chinese team now lead by 3 imps to 0. On with the action as we move to board 3.
Desi has dealt on board 3. She's first in hand green against red. She's got 6-5 in the reds, but not terribly good suits, so she decides to pass.
This hand might be worth a 3-spade opening, or even higher. But the vulnerability is against us and I'm in second seat. I don't always want my preempts to be a minimum, so I'm going to open 2 spades.
I think that sounds very reasonable. Was it Terence Rees who said that the best preempts are the ones that are varying and not always look the same way? Second in hand vulnerable is our strongest position. We like to have a proper preempt in that situation.
My options here are 3 clubs, 4 diamonds, or 4 spades. With only 3 spades in my hand, slam doesn't feel very likely, so I'm just going to bid game.
I'm thinking to bid for no trump, any 2-suiter. 6-5 is a great shape, and also the vulnerabilities are good for a sacrifice. My suits are bad, and it may not go too well, but it's imps, and even minus 800 won't be too bad. Unless they go off in 4 spades somehow.
I have a free opportunity to double here, so I'm going to use it to show something. I think this should be encouraging partner to bid, but I don't know if he will interpret that way. If he thinks I'm just showing maximum high card strength, then I can live with that.
Partner is showing 2 places to play, so I'll just bid 5 clubs. It's the longest and cheapest choice. It's interesting here that if you have like 2 hearts, 5 diamonds and 4 clubs, you should still bid 5 clubs, because if you bid 5 diamonds where you have 5 cards, partner may just have clubs and hearts and then it won't work. But here it's just obvious 5 clubs bid.
Obvious maybe, or you could pass and let partner describe her suits on the 5 level as well. Now, East would not double 5 clubs if he couldn't defend the other suits as well. So when Desi pulls to 5 diamonds, West has a very clear double. He's got a couple of trump tricks and an ace. And she is right. It may not go too well because of her suits, but also you're not going to get anywhere in this game by just passing on interesting hands. So it's a bidder's game. Against these kind of double contracts, there is a good rule of thumb, which is if you're long in trumps, you should lead a long suit and try to play for a forcing game. But it's very hard to resist the temptation of leading a singleton. And we can try and see how Desi will do. She's off ace-king of clubs, ace-king of hearts, and 2 diamond tricks. So that would be 6 tricks to east-west, which would mean 800. It might have been more difficult to control the hand on a spade lead. But this could work out as well for the defense. East knows the ace of clubs is standing up, of course, so he takes it. He's not too keen on playing another club, though, and make partner ruff from trump length, while declare is just discarding a loser. This is what happens when you lead a singleton. You put partner very often in these kind of situations. So East makes here what I think is a very nice play, although it looks very odd. He knows the ace of spades is going to be ruffed, but he prefers to simply shorten declare's trump. This is certainly the right idea for the defense to try to shorten south, although of course the spade attack is coming from the wrong hand. Desi now has seen a singleton club in the west hand together with a doubleton heart, so she knows there's 6 spades and therefore that diamond started 4-1. So she will simply throw a heart away on this trick. She will ruff this and just take a look if it was singleton queen of trumps on her right, and otherwise she has another diamond loser. So the contract will go 4 down for 800 to East-West. Now East-West are of course making a high contract in spades, at least 650, maybe 680, so it shouldn't cost that much. Let's have a look what happened at the other table. So at this table the Chinese are sitting north-south, and again South doesn't think he has a good opening bid to describe his 6-5. Surprising to me, West doesn't think his hand is worth a weak 2 spades either. This is of course down to partnership agreement and personal preference, what you like to open second in hand vulnerable on, but for me it wouldn't qualify. Instead it comes around to Shifko, and I believe they're playing some sort of precision club, so he can either open 2 clubs showing about 11-15 with clubs, but yeah, quite understandably he decides to upgrade it to a strong club. This is actually an artificial toy by South. It shows either the red suits or the black suits. While it's nice to come in over a strong club, 1 heart is not going to do an awful lot of damage. He probably wishes he could have done something higher over a club, something juicy like tuner trumps or something. North has got 10 points, and that's 10 points more than he could have had, so he will join in the auction, just encouraging partner to take another bid.
We should have a fit, and the saying goes, 6-5, come alive. The vulnerability is right, let's give it a go.
I think the original saying was 5-5 comes alive, but perhaps with inflation.
I'm going to pass. I'm not worried about East passing, because if he does, 4-no trumps is a good save.
Well, with partner showing no particular preference, South knows that he can just bid his longest suit and he will get some kind of support in dummy. Okay, so North-South here found their 6-2 fit, which is breaking 3-2. They may possibly be in a slightly better spot than 5 diamonds was. West is hoping to protect his diamond holding by leading a trump. But he can see now that there was no need to stop a diamond ruff in dummy, so he will start enforcing defense with the spade switch. The cleric will draw the last trump and go to dummy and take a pitch onto jack of clubs, and then just hope that the queen of diamonds is on side. If he could see the whole hand, he would see something interesting here, that on the jack of clubs, West is actually trump squeezed. West throws a spade now, so the cleric could, if he knew the hand, ruff a spade and exit with a small diamond to end-play West, but that is of course completely double dummy, so that wasn't going to happen. So instead he loses the same 4 tricks as 5 diamonds did at the other table, so it is a flat board in 800 to east-west.
And with that flat board, the Chinese team remained 3 imps ahead. Board 4 was passed out at table 1, but they took a different view at table 2. Let's see which side will benefit from that variation.
So here we have board 4, which was passed out at the other table. Now it's hard to comment on that because we don't know how the auction went, but at this table, West has an 11 count, which is just borderline for opening. He's got 11 points and 3 lovely 10s and some hard pips. Now, precision club players tend to open a lot of 11 counts. They have better structure for getting away with it. Of course, the truth is whether the West hand should be open or not is whether Queen Jack stiff of diamonds are worth anything or not. If they're useless, it's a poor hand. If they're good, as in this case, it's a good hand.
Double and then stay silent.
I like the way he put that, the Chinese South. He said double and then stay silent rather than stay silent and then double. Whatever we want to do in bridge is less dangerous to do it early than to wait. So Shivko has to attempt to make 2 hearts. On the face of it, he's off 3 hearts, a spade, and he can hold his club losers to 1 or try to discard them on the diamonds. But here we see that trumps are breaking 4-1, which Shivko will be aware could be the case because of the double in the auction. So he has to tread carefully. In principle, you want to duck the spade, not to leave communication for the defense, but the problem with ducking the king of spades is that if they continue with a small spade and you win the ace, then your ace is grabbing nothing but thin air. At least here you get to put the ace on an honor, which will help establishing the 10-9 eventually. You can try to play a round of trumps immediately, but it looks slightly more natural to unblock Queen Jack of diamonds. And that's what the declarer decides to do, and then he runs a trump. North does well not to put an honor on the 10 here. I think I might easily have fallen into that trap and covered the 10 with the queen like a muppet. South is having a little think about the hand. He can probably reasonably suspect that partner has the jack of spades, because if the declarer had the jack of spades, he might have just won the ace and set up 10-9 of spades by playing his second round straight away. So if South wants to get partner in, he could try a low spade. He could try a club, and if he wants to attack the club suit with this holding, funny enough, he should play the 9. Putting pressure on the 10 in dummy in case partner's got Queen 8-1 or Queen 8-4. And the safe exit that doesn't seem to cause any harm would be a diamond. So a diamond it is, and that put the declarer on the spot a little bit. Should he discard clubs from dummy, or should he discard spades and hope to build a club trick? He tries this way, and now if North just roughs with his small heart and cashes King Queen of hearts, the declarer is going to end up 1 trick short. That's only 5 tricks to defend so far, but the declarer can't handle his losers with only 1 trump in each hand. This, I think, is a very funny play by North, but it's possible he's worked out that it all comes to the same thing. I'm not sure I would be that brave, but I like it. It would have been easier to just ruff with the 7 of hearts and cash your 2 top hearts, but this is going to work out as well. Three rounds of trumps from North, and again, the declarer will have to lose 2 more tricks. So the Chinese North-South will defeat 2 hearts by 1 trick. They take 100, and as the board was passed out at the other table, there will be 3 imps to the Chinese team.
So that brings us to the halfway point in this contest, and the gap has now widened to 6 imps. Be sure to join us for part 2, and see whether the IntoBridge team can fight their way back. If you enjoyed this video and would like to help us carry on our work in bridge education, as well as enjoying the benefits available to our patrons, please visit www.patreon.com/NTBridge.
Please, allow me to show you something.